A nonatonic scale is a scale containing 9 pitches. Today we'll be looking at a nonatonic scale constructed by adding a chromatic neighbor tone above and below each pitch in an augmented triad. Played as a scale, it doesn't sound great. It's essentially a chromatic scale missing every 4th note when played this way. But when we think of this scale as a triadic structure with a tonal weight of chromatic approach tones, it becomes a great system for adding unusual tensions to any harmony. It's very important that we get this sound in our ears before we try to implement it over chord changes. And I like to think of it as 2 different scales, an ascending form and a descending form. So here's our triad. The ascending form, the chromatic step is below. In the descending form, the chromatic step is above. You put those 2 scales together and you've got our nonatonic scale. Symmetrical scales have a very strong internal harmonic structure, so we can overlay them over all types of harmony, but we still want to keep in mind that creating good music is the ultimate goal. The most obvious application over a dominant chord is to outline the root, 3rd, and raised 5th. I find that following any large leap with a step in the opposite direction tends to work well with this approach. It allows us to get the chromatic, angular sound that we're going for without losing the musicality. I also like this example because it contains upper and lower chromatic neighbors. Playing this sound over a major 7 sharp 5 chord as an alternative to a Lydian augmented sound is an obvious choice. What about over a regular major 7th chord without the raised 5th? Does this have any application there? Let's try it out. Now I'm just going to play the first 4 bars again. I think it sounds really good. It can be used effectively. It needs to be used with care. You need to still think about resolutions. But having that G sharp on beat 3 over a C major chord, it wouldn't work in every context. But I think, again, because of the symmetrical nature of this scale and how strong it is, it sounds really cool. And it's got that pulling upward feeling and also that sort of mysterious feeling that the augmented sound always has. And in this particular example, it also sort of foreshadows the sharp 11 on the dominant chord, which is an important note in the tune that I'm referencing here because it's the melody note. I really wish this minor chord had an augmented triad in it. Oh wait, it can. That's right. We really can just take the relative major of any minor chord, in this case C major, turn it into C augmented, and we're implying melodic minor over any tonic minor chord. I don't do this over 2 chords. In the context of a 2-5-1, I prefer to just stick with the dominant sound over the entire 2-5 part of the progression and then resolve to the 1. But over any tonic minor situation, be that a minor blues or a modal tune or a vamp, this is a really cool sound. I like to practice these things at 40 beats per minute and just play them ascending and descending for a long time as a warm-up. Then I start developing some patterns out of it. Then maybe a pattern like this one. Anyway, thanks so much for checking out today's video. Check out the link in the description below for a PDF with some practice materials for today's stuff. Definitely check out the playing of Gary Thomas, who introduced me to this sound. Other artists who I've heard use this sound have been Greg Osby, Tim Murphy. There's also a lot of literature about Messiaen's third mode where you can find a lot of overlap in the sound and concept because we're using a different approach to the same set of notes.